Hi there, my name is Abby Goldsmith. I'm an author and a reader, and I'm going to review An Inheritance of Magic series by Benedict Jacka. The second book just came out, so there's not a whole lot of books in this series yet. Benedict Jacka is a British bestseller known for his Alex Verus series, which I actually haven't read yet. It's on my list. So I read the first one of this series about a year ago when it came out, maybe 2 years, I don't remember. I was really impressed. I thought it was a lot of fun. This installment continues with a lot of the same fun, a lot of the same power progression, but some of the downfalls and pitfalls of the series as well. So I'll start with the good, and that is, I don't usually like urban fantasy. This is an urban fantasy that works for me. The magic system, there's kind of like this underground world of wizardry, like an adult Harry Potter, where it's hidden from the muggle world or the mundane world. They don't call it muggles, of course. And it's all tied up with corporations and powerful families. And there's a point made in the series where the rich and powerful of our current world are all in control of this magic. The magic is called Drewcraft. And there's this vibe where the information is out there on the internet because it's impossible to keep a conspiracy like this. So, one of my big critiques with urban fantasy is that how can you keep vampires, elves, or whatever a secret from the world? This series handles that pretty gracefully by saying, well, it's not really a secret per se. It's just that when you start to get really deep into this world where you're no longer treating it like healing crystals or something, but you start to take it seriously, then, these rich and powerful corporations will kind of crack down on anyone letting out any of the major secrets. And it's done in this very cynical way where the middle managers are not really looped in, but they're kind of forced to comply. It's just like secrecy is just kind of their policy. And the low-ranked peons of this world, kind of like overseas workers and whatnot, are just kind of forced to do grunt work and then taken advantage of in every way possible and not looped in on what it's really all about. So the main character is kind of caught between these two worlds where he is like a bastard child of one of these rich and powerful families. But he was raised by an outsider, kind of like someone who would be considered a peon in this world. And so he's not really in the rich and powerful section of it, and he's cut out from it at every turn. But of course he turns out to be somewhat of a prodigy with Drewcraft, and he starts to make his own sigils, which is like kind of like rings of power that kind of allow you to use magic. Do things like become stronger, become more lightweight, see in the dark, heal faster. So basically bodily enhancement magic. And he starts to become enough of an expert with that where people start involving him in this and that. And he actually is so out of the loop in this world, he's just fumbling around in the dark, just trying to survive. I'd say, for me as a reader, it's very entertaining to watch because I think we've all, if anyone who has had trouble, like, struggling with employment or that sort of thing, it's all very relatable. On the other hand, I'd say the author has a few little frustrating things where he'll kind of like raise a question in the reader's mind and then it'll just kind of drop. It's never addressed. Just little details where I just wonder if, well, why didn't the main character do this or that? And it's never really quite explained. So the main character is operating in this kind of fog of confusion, and then the reader is also starting to operate in a fog of confusion. And the trust between reader and author is not, I would say, not fully established, at least not for me. On the other hand, the author does have a very compelling way of like upping the stakes, great dramatic tension, conversations and dialogue are a lot of fun. So I'm still enjoying the series quite a lot. I will read the next one for sure. I feel as if some of those rough edges would have been ironed out if this had been serialized online for an audience, because usually online readers will kind of start screaming at the author if they're doing things like this, where, hey, why didn't you explain this? Still enjoying it, and I believe the first book was An Inheritance of Magic. The second one is An Instruction in Shadow. Now, these are a lot of fun. I highly recommend.